Hello, welcome back to Outlandish Claims, everybody. I am here with just Demetrius and just Mike, which is more than enough to make up for the lack of Gio's oversized person.
Quite well. That was an intro.
We're going to jump right into it. Last week, there were no predictions from these two gentlemen because they weren't here. They had better things to do with their lives. So my prediction was wrong. The Giants, in fact, won 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. So shame on me for changing my prediction just because they weren't in San Francisco. Looking back on the week, your thoughts over the past week and, of course, your upcoming weekly outlook. Whoever wants to start, feel free.
Why are the Cardinals not destroying the NL Central?
Corbin Burns, that's why.
Why does Corbin Burns have an 0.4 ERA and 40 strikeouts and 4 starts?
Y'all might as well have stole my thunder because that's essentially what my take is on this week. I mean, and let's not just stop at Corbin Burns, who looks like a dark horse front runner in the not so early Cy Young predictions. But let's also talk about Freddie Peralta in that rotation too. I mean, this guy has had quite the start. This is a guy that's had a 2 ERA throughout all of his starts. He's put up some performances where he's had 10 strikeouts, where he's had 8 strikeouts, and then even today and the start before, which haven't been so hot for him, he still managed 7 strikeouts in each of those games. And so when you look at the Milwaukee Brewers, I mean, that is a 1-2 punch that anybody would want to build around, arguably, in the MLB right now. And I can't believe I'm saying that because we didn't expect the Brewers to be in this position. But here they are.
You mentioned Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta, but also Brandon Woodruff having a really solid year. Somehow not the ace right at this moment because Corbin Burns is having a breakout season. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Adrian Hauser figures it out because he was a good prospect. Hopefully he'll figure it out and round out that rotation and give them a real shot at it because I'd love to see these Milwaukee pitchers do something. We'll take your weekly predictions now because I know none of y'all want to talk about what you're going to be talking about in your own individual episodes, which is fine. Just for future reference, Mike will be talking about the Yankees and the AL East, and Demetrius was supposed to have the Mets and the NL East, but he's like, nah, I'm just doing the Mets because he's got thoughts. And after Gio's final thoughts last week, I'm sure we all know exactly what those thoughts are. So your weekly outlooks, my good sirs, whoever wants to go first.
Nolan Arenado's going to have 3 home runs this week.
Ooh, that's fun.
I'm going to say that Vlad Guerrero and Cavan Biggio combine for 4 home runs next week because I think that Vlad Guerrero, and we're going to get to him and the AL East in just a second, but think about how decent at least the Blue Jays offense has been without Cavan Biggio even hitting. He is due, I think, for a hot streak coming up because I think that he's too talented of a young player to stay in the slump that he's been. And so with Vlad leading that offense, essentially putting that offense on his back, I think that you're going to see Cavan Biggio come to the party sooner than later.
I find it hilarious that the Blue Jays are led by a young core of the sons, being the sons of great players from our generation.
2 Hall of Famers.
Could you imagine Vlad, Dante Bichette, and Craig Biggio on the same team?
And we're going to get to that in our 4th episode this week of something around baseball history. Mm-hmm. My weekly outlook is I will be winless by this time again next week. I will still be winless in fantasy because this is what happens when you trade your draft picks. You know what? I'm throwing caution to the wind here. By the time we're done recording – oh, no. Because we record the game next week is at 4:00 in the afternoon. So here it is. Outlandish claim, everybody. You ready for this? By this time next week, the A's will have tied their record for 20 straight wins.
You know something? This is your time to gloat about it because we gave you such a hard time for picking the A's, and now we're looking at like the not so early, very early idiots. So I hear you.
Don't worry, I was the extremely early idiot when it was 1-7. So the table has turned just for this brief moment, but I'm going to ride it for as long as I can. Now, granted, I said that, so they're probably going to lose tonight, even though they're already up 1-0 on Baltimore. But I'm still riding with it because they have Baltimore today, tomorrow. They got 4 against Tampa, and then they got 3 more against Baltimore. One of their pitchers hasn't won 2 in a row since 2019. He just won 2 in a row this past week. So they're figuring it out. That will do it for us today, though. We'll be back tomorrow with – oh, man, I don't know who to go. I don't know who's going to go tomorrow. I don't know. Mike's got the anger on the Yankees. Demetrius is like, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me take this one. We will you don't want to miss the next episode.
Let's get the Yankees. Let's get it all out. Let's get it all out.
It's going to be Mike's or Dem's therapy session next time. We'll see you then.